Hey, do you use FamilySearch? Are you an Ancestry.com user only? Did you know that about 90% of the records on FamilySearch and Ancestry are completely different? I didn't either. If you're new here to Genealogy TV, let me introduce myself. My name is Connie Knox. I am a lifelong genealogist here to help you go further, faster, and factually with your family research. Now, every good genealogist is going to use all of the resources available to them, especially one as easy to use as FamilySearch. So if you're using FamilySearch, do you already know all of the stuff that's available to you on FamilySearch? As I try to bring a variety of information to the Genealogy TV audience, I reached out to FamilySearch to see if they would do an interview and tell us a little bit about the resources available at FamilySearch. But I also wanted to give an overview for somebody maybe who'd not been on the site before, but also dig into a little bit of the hidden gems that are available. So I present to you today a new footnotes episode. And well, I call them footnotes because it's in the footnotes where the real sources are. And today's real source is Courtney Connolly. She is a product marketing manager at FamilySearch. Now, I've been doing this a long time, and I thought, you know, okay, I've got a lot of this FamilySearch stuff down, but boy, was I wrong. There's a lot of new stuff available. So no matter where your experience level is, you might want to watch this, whether you're new or very experienced at FamilySearch, because she shows us a lot of really cool stuff. So FamilySearch is just another one of the tools in the genealogist toolbox. So we're going to jump into that interview right now. Well, welcome to Genealogy TV. I am so thrilled. I'm really excited about this episode because I've been dying to get somebody from FamilySearch on. So thank you so much for joining us today. Tell us, if someone's new to FamilySearch, you're here to give us kind of an overview and then maybe some little hidden gems in there. Tell us where a person would get started.
For sure. Thank you, Connie, for having me. I'm excited to be here. So I would start by looking at our site and the family tree. So FamilySearch, we've existed for over 125 years, and our purpose is to help you discover your families. So let's start by looking at the family tree. So when you log into FamilySearch.org, you will see this screen, and it will show different discoveries available for you. I love this feed. It's a really fun way to see what other people have added to my family tree. So it shows other photos that people added for my grandfather, and it has other recommended hints, so record hints for my family, and other things going on FamilySearch. This box here will tell you different campaigns, different discoveries you can find on FamilySearch. So this is what we call the logged in homepage. Lots of fun discoveries here. Then if you go to your family tree, this is my family tree here. This is my great-grandfather, Columbus Burdick Gray. And one of the first things you want to do is to add everything you know about your family to your family tree. The more information that you add, the more FamilySearch can help you find additional information. So you add all the information you have about your living family, and then you search for a deceased family in the tree, and then you can add them and attach and link that person, and it will bring in everything else FamilySearch has about your family tree. So we have the world's largest shared family tree, and it's great because you can find everything someone's already added about your family in one place.
So I believe anybody can use this FamilySearch.org service. Is there a cost?
No, FamilySearch is free. Everything you see on our site is available for free. We're a nonprofit, and we want to help all people around the world connect with their families. So our purpose is to help all people around the world discover, connect, and gather their families, past, present, and future.
So how did FamilySearch get started?
So we've existed for over 125 years. We are sponsored and funded by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And it's really important to us to help all people gather their families and connect with them.
Wonderful. So now I admittedly use FamilySearch quite a bit. I use it as one of many tools. But this is a collaborative tree. It's a little different than Ancestry, that you don't have your own tree. So can you talk a little bit about that and why it's the world tree and the collaborative tree?
Yeah, so other sites have family trees and they're private, which are great because you can manage that yourself. But they can be disconnected and there can be a duplication of work. By having one shared large family tree, you can work with your family and you can find the information that they've discovered. You can share the information that you have about your family, and you work together, and it avoids duplication of work. You can find more information together. You know things that they may not know, and vice versa. And you can connect to everything else that someone has discovered about your family in one place. And so, for example, my coworker, Paul, his family's from Italy, and he works on his family history with his family in Italy, and they discover more together through this shared tree.
Wonderful. And now I know that I've actually done some other episodes where I talk about FamilySearch, but one of the questions I get a lot is, or comments on some of the episodes from Genealogy TV is, people say that another person changed the information that they had put on FamilySearch, and they're upset about it, even though they've shown them multiple times the evidence that they have that it's correct. And so they're kind of having maybe a little challenge with someone else changing the information about the same ancestor on FamilySearch. How do you address those issues?
That's an important question, and that is a concern that people run into. We address it by remembering to keep in mind that people mean well. They're trying to work on their family history just like you are. They're not intentionally trying to frustrate you, so it's important to keep that in mind. They may have found something that they thought was true and accurate that you may disagree with. So just keep that in mind to remember they have well intentions and to be kind, but you can communicate with them because it's a collaborative tree. You can reach out to them and say, I'm curious where you found this information. Here are the records that I have found to validate the information that I have, and you can work together on that.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm always telling people is, use it as an opportunity. They're probably a cousin, so meet your cousin, right? Yeah. Say hello to your family, right? And maybe, just maybe, you're wrong, and that the information the other person is providing can open your eyes to something you may not have known about, or maybe there's a record that you had never seen before, or whatever. But together, we can work together and try and resolve those issues. I know sometimes they can't always be resolved, but
do your best to be open-minded and kind in the way that you communicate with them, and it can be a great opportunity to learn more, just like you said.
So let's talk about some records. I want to hear about some records. We like records.
So we have 7 billion searchable names through historical records on our site. 7 billion searchable names.
Wow.
So you'll probably find your family in some of those 7 billion. And there are 1.3 billion digital images that are not indexed, and there are ways to browse those images. And there are between 350 to 500 million images added to FamilySearch each year. So more and more records are being added each year. If you couldn't find your ancestor in a certain record before, always try back, because you never know what records are being added through indexing and other record innovations.
And this speaks to my other point, excuse me, that I'm always telling people, keep a research log and date your research log, because if you say, I checked this record back in 2005, guess what? There might be an update to that record in there. So, yeah.
Yes, we have more and more records, millions each year.
Oh, I know what I was going to ask you. Okay, so we have other companies out there, MyHeritage and Family or Ancestry and all these different groups. On the other companies, they have different records. Yep. Some of them overlap. Do you have any information about how much of that stuff overlaps?
Yes, so I learned that there's less than 10% overlap between us and other partners, especially Ancestry, less than 10% overlap. And a lot of that is census records. But overall, every company, FamilySearch, Ancestry, Find My Past, My Heritage, we all have different records available. So I'm a strong believer in use all these resources to find your family. Search all these great companies to see what records they have for your family.
Good point. And that's kind of what I was going after. Thank you. Because that is a big advocate for using a variety of services. Even, I mean, think about it with newspapers, for example. Ancestry has a few newspapers. I think you guys have newspapers on there. I don't know.
There's obituaries.
Okay. And then there's Genealogy Bank and Chronicling America and all these different services just for newspapers that you can just go look, because a lot of them do not cross over, especially for newspapers. So what else do we need to know? You were going to show us something about the family tree, there's a lot of new exciting views on our family tree that I will share.
So here's the family tree. Now, a common question people have is, how do they connect to this world's largest shared family tree? And the way to do that is to add everything you know about your living family. And then when you get to a deceased ancestor, you try to find them in the tree, and then you link them and attach them to your tree. And it brings in all the information that FamilySearch has of your family. And there are some really fun ways to view your family tree. So if you click right here where it says landscape, there are a few different ways. One of my favorite ways is the fan chart. And there are new fan chart views. So here you can change how many generations you see for your family. So here you can see 4 up to 7 generations on your fan chart. And if you want to change the person that's in the center of the fan chart, you just hover over somebody and there's a little fan chart icon. So you click on that and it'll place them in the center of the fan chart, and you can view all that information for them. So I'm going to go back and look at, let's see, this person. And there are some really fun things you can view here. So birth country, this is again one of my favorites. You can see all the areas that they are from. So I'm going to zoom out here. So I can see I have ancestors from the UK, from England, just for that ancestor side of the family. So if I look at myself here, I can see all the different areas of the world that my ancestors are from. So that's really fun. I like to compare this to my DNA results, because in your DNA results, you see where you're from, and then compare this to the records information in your tree and see where you're from and how that compares. It's kind of fun to use both of those resources. And then you can look at sources here. This will show you all the sources that are attached to your family, as well as stories. So I have some work to do. I need to add more stories to my ancestors. And then photos. Again, I need to add more photos for my family. And then research helps. This tells you record hints, possible data problems, research suggestions. This is a really great tool to see, a visual way to see what's available in your family tree. So that's
I have to admit that I don't think I have messed around much with the fan chart. This is really cool.
We very recently have added these new features. It's very exciting. Really fun way, especially for beginners. It's a really fun way to get started and see what's in your tree. And then I'll show you, so that's the fan chart view. Then there is the portrait view, where you can view the family tree with their portraits here. So I'm going to look at his tree. And then there's a descendancy view, which is really great. It'll show you all the descendants for a particular ancestor. So I can zoom in and see the descendants here. So those are all the different ways to view your family tree.
What kind of records do you think probably are most beneficial to us that are hiding on FamilySearch? Obviously, census records are always popular, and we can find census records in a lot of places, but what kind of unique records do you think you have that are probably most popular?
So some of our most popular records are the birth, marriage, and death records, for sure. Those are the most used on our site, the most attached records on our site, most viewed. And
how do you acquire those? Now, you're getting, I know I have found many certificates, birth, marriage, and death certificates on FamilySearch that I have not been able to find anywhere else. And oh, by the way, they're free.
Yes.
So check FamilySearch before you order a copy of anything. But how do you guys acquire that stuff?
So we work with governments and archives around the world. They benefit from it by having their records preserved, and then we are able to help more people find their family. So we have partnerships with archives and libraries and governments around the world to gather those records so that people can discover their families.
Okay, so one of my big tips that I'm always telling people is to search by location before searching by surname. Yeah. So let's pretend for a moment, since we're talking about vital records, if we've got somebody in, I don't know, pick a state, and we're trying to see if you even have marriage certificates or, say, birth certificates for a certain period of time in a certain state, how do we find that on FamilySearch? How do we go just to investigate if you have the records?
Good question. I can show you. Should we look at an example?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I also like to start by looking at the area. So here, there's a few different ways. You can search here and just do a general search for everything on our site. There's that option. Or you can search by area here and dive into a certain area. And then here, if you have a specific collection you're looking for, so let's say World War I or II, you can just see all the different collections here for that. Or if you wanted like Civil War records, you can search for that. So that's a great way. If you have a specific collection that you're not sure where to find, that's a great way to do that. I would suggest just keeping the search simple so it can bring up more results. And then you can look at all published record collections and dive in. If there's a certain collection you're looking for, you can do it that way and refine your results through the filters there. Or, like you said, this is one way I love to do it, is to look for a certain area. So what state should we look at?
Oh, I'm in North Carolina. I always like to look for North Carolina records.
Okay, let's do that. So North Carolina. So this pulls up all the different records for that area. Great tips up here if you wanted to have some resources, tips on the wiki, those are always there. And then this can show us all the different collections available for North Carolina. So you could dive into one in particular, or you can search all of these. Yeah, there's a lot of collections for North Carolina there. And then these are image-only records. So this is where they have not been indexed, but you can browse through the images here if you wanted to do that.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a minute. Because you briefly mentioned that earlier. And so, so let's pretend for a moment, you got probate records, maybe that may be something that might be of interest. So you're saying these are not indexed. So how do you find your ancestor in a non-indexed source?
So you'd have to know some information about what area they are in. They're usually alphabetically. So let's see, which one did you want to look at?
I don't know, pick one.
Okay, we'll go with probate records. So here you learn more. That tells you more about this collection, information about that collection. And then if you want to go straight to browse, we're going to do that. Then it brings up, then let's see, is there a particular county you'd want to look at?
Yeah, let's go look at Randolph County because that's one I'm researching right now.
Oh, perfect. Well, maybe we'll find something for you. That would be cool. So we've got accounts, bonds, dockets, settlements, wills, and it has it by year. So let's just say bonds 1870. We'll pretend he's in there.
Okay.
And then it brings up image, and you just scroll through, and they're usually alphabetically. And you can skip and go straight to image 150.
Thank you.
Zoom in. Yeah, so that's basically what you do. You scroll through, you type in which image you want. So let's say that's not quite right, and you want to jump ahead, go to 200. And they're usually alphabetically, and that's how you can do that. And just so you know, heads up, sneak peek, we are making it easier to explore these images. We are creating some innovations, some features, so that it's easier for you to get into these images.
Ah, you're not going to tell us what that is, huh?
I can't tell you when or exact details, but I am telling you that there are some innovations coming to make this process easier, especially internationally. In English, most of our records are indexed. In North America, it's not so much of a problem for us, but internationally, there's not as many records indexed. So this is a great way if you're trying to find international records. We are going to make that a little bit easier. But until then, you just scroll through images and you can type in what page you want to get to.
That is wonderful. So as long as we're here, let's talk about one of my very, very favorite resources, and that is the FamilySearch Wiki. If you're not familiar with the FamilySearch Wiki, you should be.
Yes, it's a great tool, great help resource. I'll just go straight to the wiki.
FamilySearch.org/wiki.
Yep. Should we talk about this guided research tool?
Yeah, but let's just briefly give people an overview of what the wiki is if they've never been here before.
Okay. Yeah. So the wiki is a great resource. If there's a certain area or a certain topic of research that you want to know more about, this is a great deep dive of information. We have information on the blog that's really helpful. We have different levels of help that we offer. And this is for those who really want to dive deep and learn more about a specific area or type of record.
And quite frankly, it's almost like a Google search, but it's inside of FamilySearch, because you can find anything and everything in this wiki, it seems like. I haven't been able to stump it yet.
Yeah, it's a great resource and very collaborative as well. If people know something that we don't have, they can add that. So think of Wikipedia, very similar concept. So it looks like you can tell I've searched for DNA before. I'm all about DNA. So as an example, you can search for that topic, and then that shows you all the resources on the wiki that may help you with DNA. So for example, this one, like what is DNA? This goes through all this really great in-depth information. So if you really want to learn a lot, Wiki's a great place.
Wonderful. Okay, so you were going to tell us about your new tool over there.
Yes, the guided research.
And you get to that at the wiki, right?
Yeah, so I'm just going to go back to the main wiki page. And this is another sneak peek. I'm just giving out all sorts of secrets. So this is coming. It's available now, but it's still in development. So you can access this. So you just go to guided research on the wiki homepage. And what this is this shows you what records are available for certain areas of the world. And we tell you, if we don't have it on our site, we'll tell you where else you can go to get that information. So it's everything we know about records for certain areas of the world. And like I said, this is still in development, but you can use what is currently available. So for example, let's say I want to learn more about England and what records are available for England. So I click on that, and this shows me what counties. Let's go with this county here. And then it will tell me what information is available for birth records. So it tells me what we have on FamilySearch for that county, and then it also tells me what Ancestry has or another company may have that we do not have. So it's a really great place to go and see what is available, where can I go to learn more? And then they have that for marriage and death records as well.
So this kind of answers the question that I asked earlier about if I wanted to know where to find marriage records in North Carolina, I might be able to find it here?
Yeah. It's still in development, so there will be more added to this, but yeah, this will be a great resource for people to see what's available for that area, whether it's on our site or another site.
That is wonderful.
Yeah.
What other hidden gems have you got there?
Have you seen the new discovery experiences on our site?
A little bit.
Yeah, so many fun discovery experiences that are great for beginners. If you are not sure where to get started, this is great. So you just go to FamilySearch.org/discovery. And there are all these really fun activities here. So let's see, there's so many to choose from. So let's look at All About Me. So this is a fun one. So if you go to All About Me, this is similar to what you find in our Discovery Centers. So you may have gone to the Discovery Center in the Family History Library. And this is similar, so you can access this anywhere in the world on our website. You don't always have to go to the Discovery Center to do that. So this tells me the meaning of my name, different things that happened the year I was born, and you can switch this out and view this for different ancestor.
Oh man, I got an idea about that.
Yeah.
Well, so one of the things I like to tell people is when they're writing their family history and they're writing about grandpa, or even getting ready to interview grandpa, if you go and look up what was happening in their lifetime during maybe the time they were a young, like grandpa was a young man, he was like 22, or something. If you go look and find out what was going on in the world during that time, then you can ask him, hey, where were you when Kennedy was shot? Or do you remember XYZ event? Those kind of things, because it really adds some great color to the family history story.
It does. It really does. It's fun to know not just the names and dates, but like who they are, what they experienced during their lifetime. Makes it more personal. Yeah, so you can choose different years. I can do this for other ancestors. So I can look at my great-grandmother and see the same information.
Gosh, top news stories. I love it. I have to get and play around. I haven't been in here much.
So fun. This is just one of the many fun discoveries that you can have on our site. So great experience. What you said actually reminds me of a new feature we recently launched. If we go back to the tree, this goes right along with what you're saying. There's this new feature if you go to the person page in your tree. Okay, so if you go to their person page, then you go to the timeline. This is another really fun way to see what events happened in their life. So if you go to the timeline, it will show you all the different key events in their life as a map and where those events happened. And then if you click on show, you can click historical events, and it will show you in that timeline historical events that happened during their life. So it's another really fun way to make it personal and see what happened. So apparently the Girl Scouts was created during the lifetime of my great-grandfather. So a really fun way to see what's happened. So he's from California. So it talks about in 1934, Alcatraz became a
now,
detention.
Is there a way to export this little timeline to, like, if somebody's writing a family history book or something, is there a way to export that so that you can have like a different little timeline?
That's a really good question. I don't think there's currently a way to print this, but I know they're working on ways to improve the different family trees you can print.
Okay.
So the fan charts we looked at, I know they're improving ways to print those. So I don't think there's currently a way to print this, but hopefully in the future they're creating more opportunities to print this information.
I know that, even if you did export it, it would probably change next week because it is a collaborative tree and things are constantly changing.
More information will be added. Yeah.
Look at that. Amelia Earhart completes her first solo nonstop transatlantic flight by a woman.
That is awesome. So yeah, it's so fun to see, like, it makes them real. It makes these people in your tree real, like what happened in their life. Yeah.
That is so cool.
So fun.
All right, what other toys have you got?
Let's see, what else can I show you? So many fun things. One really important resource that I think people forget about is all the great help resources on our site. If you have any questions, you can always go right here at the top right of every page will be this help button. And if you click that, you can go to the Help Center, and there's all these great resources available to you. If you have any questions about anything on our site, this is a great resource. Whether it's memories, the tree, indexing. If you want to find a local family history center, you click on that. You can find a family history center. We have over 5,000 family search centers around the world in 140 countries. As you can see on this map, they're all over. So there's people around that can help you wherever you are. So that's a really great tool and resource to find out where there is somebody in a place where if you have questions, they can help you.
Well, let me ask you, back in the day, you used to go to the Family History Center to, this is going to date me, to order microfilm, bring it in,
I've done that
put it on the microfilm reader and read it on the microfilm. Is there a reason to, other than just getting face-to-face assistance, is there a reason to go to a Family History Center in person in the various cities? And I'm not referring to the one in Salt Lake City because there's a big reason to go to that one.
Very good reason. So we've tried to make it possible so you don't have to go to these family search centers, so you can do this in your home and anywhere in the world, but it is an additional resource if you want more help. And another reason to go there is there are some records and images that are only available in the centers that are more restricted. So there's some images that you may see there. You may see the index on the website, but you can go to the center to see the image in some cases. So it's a great place to go for more help and to see other exclusive images and records.
Fair enough. Okay, you got any more gems on that list?
So at the bottom of the site, there's the blog button. And we've been adding a lot of great helpful information on the blog. A lot of information specialized for a certain area or a certain record type. This last year, we celebrated the 100th anniversary since the ending of World War I, and we created a lot of great content about World War I to find information about your family who was impacted by that great war. We've just published some information about finished records. So this is a really fun way to learn about how to find more information about a certain area or type of record in your family.
Now, is there a way to sign up for this blog and have it emailed to you, or do you have to come here to get to it?
Such a good question. So on the top right, there's a link to subscribe to stay informed, and you can subscribe to the blog and it'll notify you of any new information that's added. Or you can always come to the blog, either way.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And yeah, we publish a few articles a week to help you.
You were looking at your notes, so there's something else on your list.
Okay, did you have another question though?
I'll save it.
Okay. So another great resource is a logged out experience. Who knew that logging out of a website, you could have these great experiences, So another great experience and resource is this right here. So when you log out of the homepage, this is really great for beginners before they want to jump in and start adding information to their tree. They can see what's already on our site for their family. So I'm going to search for one of my favorite ancestors. Look, it's already in there. Isabel's off. She's one of my favorites, and she was from, Beaver, Utah. I just searched for her the other day. And I can search and it will tell me all the information we have on our site for a Isabel Goff. So there are over 48,000 people in the tree with that name, and it tells you in a really fun way, just fun visual experience of where this name is located and what records we have. So there's 388 birth, marriage, or death records, 58 census, 62 migration, and 56 military records. Now, these may not all be for my ancestor, but lots of great possibilities there. And then they found this is actually hers. This is one of my ancestors here. And people in the tree that they may have for you, for that person.
Look at those eyes. I love it.
Yes, yes. Here she is here. And I know this is her. This is her. This is her family. This is her gravestone. So imagine if you had never been to the site before and you just found out that all this information is on FamilySearch. This would definitely invite you to want to create an account and start your family tree. So that's a really great resource for beginners who haven't even created an account, or just anybody who wants to have this kind of experience to see what's on the site for a particular ancestor.
I have to ask, because I know people can be bashful about putting their email address in and signing up for something, either a newsletter or signing up on the site for the first time. Do you guys do anything with that information? You sell the email addresses? Do you do any of that kind of stuff?
Definitely not. We are very cautious about keeping people's information safe. Very, very cautious about it. We do not sell that data to anyone, and we do not give anyone access to that data either. Well, so the reason we invite people to create accounts is really to benefit that person. By creating an account, we can then provide you more information. We send personalized hints and information to people, and yeah, it's only to help them, to give them the resources and support and discoveries that they need.
Well, FamilySearch certainly is giving back. That is no doubt, and that's my transition into my next little giving back conversation, because I know, it's the cool part about genealogy and genealogists in general is everybody's having fun. So everybody wants to help each other. And by helping each other, we share information and stuff. And I know that FamilySearch, I know Ancestry does it, several different groups do this, various indexing projects and such, and I want to think that FamilySearch does indexing projects as well, where people can volunteer, even if it's just a couple hours a week, to help index records. Yeah?
Yes. We have amazing indexing volunteers who make most of these records searchable. We have other innovations that we use to make records searchable, but indexers are a huge part of that. Yeah.
And one of the cool parts about doing some of those indexing projects, especially if you're reading some of that old handwritten documents, is it gives you practice in reading some of those old documents, because it's a skill. It's something, and I was doing another interview the other day with somebody, and we were talking about how our younger generation did not learn handwriting in school. And so that is one of my big concerns, as maybe not in my lifetime, but, in the next 2 generations, it's going to be harder and harder to read some of those older documents. It's hard enough now when we're going back and looking at these really old English scrolls and things, it's challenging enough if we know how to read cursive handwriting. So there's a tip: volunteer and practice at the same time.
Yeah. If you want, we can look at indexing. Should we look at what that
Sure, let's go look at one.
So to get to indexing, you just click at the very top section, indexing there, and then you click web indexing. So we used to have a program that you had to download the software, and now it's just right here on the site. So you can index anywhere through the website. No downloading needed. So you just go here and you can open a batch, and you can select different types of indexing projects based on different areas. And there's different instructions here. And so the guided tour walks you through the process. So you just say whether this should be indexed. If it doesn't look like it has any data, you would click this. And then you just type what you see on the record. Indexing is simply just typing what you see on the record. So this one is asking for the name. So we would type in Holmes, Quincy, Miller. Yeah, and that's simply what you do. You type in the information, then you submit it, and then it makes it searchable. So someone else can find their ancestor, Holmes, Quincy, Miller. That will be searchable for them.
I don't think people realize, just because it's photographed, all these index cards and things that have been rapidly photographed, somebody's got to read all of that stuff in order for us to be able to search it. So
all the records that you're searching, somebody helped make that available. Another really great resource that I can't share on my computer here is the mobile app. So the mobile app is I love the app. You can do family history anywhere on the go. And there's some really fun experiences in there if you sign into the app. So it's just the Family Tree FamilySearch app, and then there's also a Memories app. Okay, it's a really great way to do family history anywhere. You could be watching TV and do family history on your phone. You could be waiting in line at the bank or the grocery store or the doctor's office, really anywhere. Waiting in the car for your kids as you pick them up from school. You can do family history anywhere in a quick amount of time. So if you sign into the FamilySearch Family Tree app, on that main screen, you can see your family tree there. And then there's a tasks feature. So that will show you all the different record hints for your ancestors. I love this. This is an easy way to do family history in 5 or 10 minutes, just to look at a record hint, see if it matches for my ancestor, and attach it to the tree. The more we do that, the more we can validate the information that's in our tree and find new people and new information. So love the tasks feature. That's really fun. And then if you go to the More feature, whether you're on an Android or an iPhone, there's a Relatives Around Me feature. And if you do that, whoever in the room has this app open and uses this feature, you can find out how you're related to all the people in the room. And then there's also a Map My Ancestors feature. So if you're traveling and you want to see if any of your ancestors are from that area that you're in, you just open Map My Ancestors and see, oh, I have a second great grandfather that was born here, or was married, or he died here, just different things like that. So when I travel, I love traveling, and I go to the UK, I can see which of my ancestors were from different areas of the UK.
Great tip, especially, as summer's coming and, people want to take a road trip or maybe go into a family reunion or something. Gosh, that's a great idea. I had not played with that, so I'm going to have to check that one out.
Yeah, it's so fun. So those are some of the features in the app. And then there's a Memories app, a FamilySearch Memories app. And you can add audio. If you're meeting with a grandparent and they're telling this really great story about their life, you can record that story and it'll automatically upload to FamilySearch, so it can be preserved forever. So as well as with your stories and photos. So the apps are also a really great resource.
I love that. You know, being a video professional, I love to be able to record video or audio, especially at family reunions. Oh, if you can get them in a quiet corner somewhere and ask a few questions, go for it.
It'd be amazing. Perfect with summer coming up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's talk about, I know that there are some sister companies and how they integrate with FamilySearch.
Yeah, so we are partners with all the other companies in the industry. We do not view them as competitors. We view each other as partners, and that we can mutually benefit each other and our customers, our patrons. They have records that we do not have, and we have records that they don't have, and we can work together to help people all around the world find their family.
Who are these partners?
Who are the partners? The main ones are Ancestry, Find My Past, My Heritage, and there's a few others. I will show you a way to find all these partners on our site. Okay, so if you go to FamilySearch.org, down at the bottom of the site, after I scroll past all these great images,
look at that.
There's
That's so cute.
And someone else added this for my family. I've never seen it before, so it's really fun. Yeah, so the bottom of the site, that's where we found the blog. There's also a solutions gallery. So if you click on that, this will tell you all the other solutions and partners that we work with in the industry. So this is also a great resource to see what other resources are available, other companies. And there's different categories. Let's see, research assistance. What other companies are out there to help with that? So here are some of the companies: MyHeritage, Facilla, Roots Finder, other great tools to help you. I remembered one other thing, probably the one I'm most excited about these days.
Okay.
Okay. So if you go to FamilySearch.org/DNA, we have just released at our recent Roots Tech in Salt Lake in March, we released this new website to help people find their family through DNA. Now, we at FamilySearch do not offer DNA kits. I just have to make sure people understand that. We do not offer DNA kits, but we get a lot of questions from people who've completed their DNA and they want to know what to do with their results. Or we get a lot of questions from people who want to complete a DNA test, but they don't know where to start or who would be the best fit. So we've created these resources to provide education and awareness around DNA because we know it'll help more people find their family. So there's a few options here. So this page shows you what test options are available. So here are all the companies that will help you find your family through DNA. And it helps you understand, this is just very factual. We don't recommend one more than another. We just say, here's what each of them offer, so you can make a good educated decision with knowing what you can benefit from each of them.
I see they're in alphabetical order.
Yeah, alphabetical order. Yep, because we, love them all.
Well, and you know what? We can never get enough help with DNA. It is a complex subject. Boy, is it beneficial though. Boy, if you haven't done a DNA test, you're missing out on some really great evidence.
Yeah, it's a great way. Using DNA plus records in your family tree, you can discover so much more about your family. And so we help people do that. In this next step section, we go over what you can do once you get your results. People sometimes don't know what to do. They learn about the ancestral homelands, their ethnicity reports, and then they think, well, then what? Now what do I do? So this walks you through some great resources of what you can do when you get your results. So you can get some research tips, how to use DNA to break through brick walls in your family history. And these link to great blog articles that go in depth on some great tips. How to connect with your cousins and DNA relatives, and then what even is chromosome mapping and how can you use that to find your family. And then those who are wanting to explore their biological family through learning more about who they're connected to. So great resources here. And then there's a FAQ that goes over common questions that we've received about DNA, and it expands so you can get more information. And then common terminology, that it's a whole different vocabulary. I've had to learn about what chromosome mapping is, the different types of tests. This is a great way to learn what all those different terms mean.
Great resource. You know, I could spend my life playing in just the DNA circle alone, you know. but it is just one of many sources of evidence for us in searching our family tree. So don't rely on DNA alone. But boy, that's a great resource. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Got anything else hiding in the Courtney toy box over there?
We've gone through a lot of great resources. I think those are all the main things on my list. A lot of my favorite tools on FamilySearch. There's so many things you can do, and that you really have to decide, like, what are your family history goals? What are you trying to accomplish and achieve? And take it one bite at a time. And yeah, a lot of fun things to choose from.
And I know that we've just scratched the surface, so I'm hoping that we can get you or somebody else from FamilySearch back on a little bit later and start digging deeper into some of those areas. But hopefully that gives everybody a good foundation from which to work from, and a little bit of understanding about the collaborative tree and some of the many resources. And of course, I still there's two areas I go to the most: the wiki and the records. Those are my two favorites, but that's just me, but you got a lot going on there. So thank you so much for taking the time to come talk to us about FamilySearch. It's great to have somebody from FamilySearch able to talk to the whole Genealogy TV audience. We thank you.
It's fun to be here. It's great to share all the exciting things that we get to be part of that everyone can benefit from.
Well, you definitely have a fun job.
I do. I love it. It's really
nice to get up and go to work every day.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Special thanks to Courtney Connolly for the interview. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And you know what? We just barely scratched the surface. There is a lot more to learn about FamilySearch, so I'm going to try and bring you some more videos on that. I will leave you some links in the show notes about some of the areas that she talked about. So tell me, what is your favorite area on FamilySearch? Please let us know in the comment sections below. We would love to hear back from you. And if you like that, give us a thumbs up and share with everybody. Sharing is caring. Okay, until next time, keep on climbing your family tree.